All right, well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, all the other offices. So I am here in lovely Conyers today, but we're gonna be going through, I got a lot of really cool, neat information for everybody, and I hope that hope you brought some notepads and things like that, because this really is gonna be one of those good note-taking classes, or not classes, meetings, because I'm gonna give you a lot of really cool ideas that I'm hoping that you can take advantage of and utilize in your business, because I want you to do good, not fall over kind of thing. All right, so let's make sure that everybody's good here. All right, so I want to kind of start off talking about what's going on with all the lawsuits and everything happening in especially nationwide as it pertains to real estate commissions. So there's been, like, if you watch the national news or you keep up with real estate information, real estate news nationally, you'll see that the whole country is pretty much wrapped up. There's two major lawsuits going on right now. And a lot of these folks are really wound up and super concerned, and it's all dealing around with buyer commissions. And so we in Georgia, though, we're not named as one of those states. We're not one of those places where like we're not named in that lawsuit. And does anybody know why? Well, it's all in how our MLS interprets those laws, as well as it's in how both even statewide, GREC, how GREC interprets our real estate laws. And so here in Georgia, for as long as I know, you've always been able to not pay a buyer's compensation, a buyer's agent. Right? Can you sell a property and not offer a buyer co-op in Georgia? Yes, yeah, you can. You can, and I'm not saying that you should by any means, because I think that's a dumb move. But by the letter of the law, if you go in the MLS right now, will you see some listings that offered zero compensation for the buyer's agent? Yeah, you will. There's not many, but there are there. And so what a lot of the lawsuits are, and like I said, there's two major lawsuits, but one of the big issues with those lawsuits is that in those states where those lawsuits are, they require buyer's agent compensation. And so here in Georgia, we haven't had that issue because we've had this for forever, right? And so not that I think that it's a sound practice. I think that will hurt you if you try and sell your property and not offer. I think we need to protect buyer's agents commissions and that kind of stuff. But that being said, license law is that we don't mandate or force a seller to pay a buyer's compensation. Now these other states, and so like Bright MLS, it's the second largest MLS in the United States, and they're one of the ones that's named along with several other MLSs, National Association of Realtors, all that kind of stuff, because they had these policies that you had to, so when you sold a home, you had to split or share part of that with the buyer's agent. And if you read how our buyers work, how our listing agreements are and that kind of stuff, you can theoretically put in zero compensation for the buyer's agent. And so the thing is that everyone in the nation is kind of losing their mind about this. They're all wound up by the fact that all of a sudden they've got to do a good job. Like our buyers, like currently right now in Georgia, we haven't had this rule. Like all these other states have had this rule that you had to offer it, but we haven't had that rule. We've had to do a really good job in order to make sure that made sense. And so that's one of the reasons why Georgia is not named in these lawsuits, and why even though you see a bunch of news and information and stuff flying back and forth, don't get wound up in it. And so does it have the potential to change kind of our industry a little bit? Yeah, but only in terms of like the rest of the country is going to start having laws very similar to what we have in Georgia, which is you can't mandate buyer's agent compensation. In those other states, they have mandated, and that's why they're all losing their mind, and that's why they're talking about a big change. But no one's really talking about the fact that like 2/3 of the country are already that way, right? That's why it's not all these different, it's just certain states and certain locations and certain MLSs that had those rules. That's why they're named in there, but we aren't one. So stay calm and just keep doing a good job. All right, we have the Tom Ferry Success Summit, which starts 2 weeks from today, actually.
Yeah, woo-hoo.
Yeah, I know. So like we got next week and the following week. And I just wanted to kind of invite everyone to come to it. If you have not come to one of these events, you really absolutely should. Every time we come to it, I come back with just pages and pages of notes and ideas. We've done it for like 8 years straight now. And it really is a really interesting, it's great for information. So like, and like, this is just day one. And right. And so relationships, winning offers, using video, being an energetic mindset, setting appointments, seller seminars, seven strategies for growth. Each one of these is like a 30-45 minute session where they go through. We're going to have workbooks that we go through. On Tuesday, same sort of thing, big buyer agency role plays, listings, new agents, branding, all this kind of stuff that we need. And then on day 3, every day is different content and different information you can learn. So we've got sponsors who are going to be buying breakfast and lunch. And we just kind of have a good time with it. We have workbooks, just like if you were sitting at the, right in front of the stage. Yes, ma'am.
Or any of this be Zoom?
Nope. No, this is all Zoom here, right? Because we have to pay to have it in our offices, so I can't give you the Zoom. So this is only in the offices. Some of the offices are already sold out. So this is a really big deal. And like, I encourage you to look at it as a way to help grow your business. Like if you wanted to go to this thing, it's like $800. Plus you got to fly there. So it's in Texas, and then you got to put a hotel up, and then you got to eat while you're there and all that kind of stuff. Last time Ming and I went, it was like $8,000 for us to go to one of these events. And they're good events, but like, guess what? You can do this for free. It's free 99. So it can help you really grow your business. So please, I strongly encourage you to look at that. Also, we have accountability sessions every Monday morning in all of our offices, every Monday morning at 9 a.m. Now, you know why we start at 9 a.m. on Monday morning? Because that's when we should be getting up and getting running, not at the crack of noon, 9 a.m. Monday morning. That's when we start our week. So let's get in and start doing that. We start off and do like backstory, and then we start making phone calls and engaging with our clients. So when is the best time when we should call folks? Does anybody know? Well, I'm glad you asked, right? Because this is the best days of the week to call. And so, I mean, when you look at like, what's the best day? Wednesday is by far our best day. If you're going to, the best time to be able to do it, to reach out and engage with clients is going to be Wednesday, followed by Thursday, then Tuesday, then Monday. Friday's our worst one. And honestly, that's better for us because there's a lot of realtors who take Fridays off because they show houses on the weekend and that kind of thing. Now, what about best times? Well, really, 4 to 5 in the afternoon is your absolute best time, followed by 10 to 11 in the morning. Those are your 2 best times of the day to be able to call, connect, and engage with people. Now, one thing I will say is that once you hit that 5 o'clock time frame, it drops like a rock. So at 5:01, you're spinning wheels kind of thing. You're making phone calls and nobody's answering at 5:01. You got up until 5 o'clock that they will answer. So 10 to 11 in the morning, 4 to 5 in the afternoons are your 2 best times to actually call. So if you look at that when you're trying to plan out what you want to or how you want to make up the calls. The other thing is like a lot of times, I try and talk to you about please share property alerts, share property information, and then when you log into KV4, that system will tell you. You can even have it send you alerts when people go on your website and look at it. And what this is this is the number of conversions that happen within the first hour, second hour, third hour. And so the quicker you respond, the better off you're going to be. And you can see that the longer this tapers off, like once you get to 8th hour, it's about 10% of the response rate. So when someone is on your website looking at properties, what do you need to do?
Engage.
Pick up the phone. Hey, I saw you're on my website. Were you ready to go look at properties? Have you been pre-approved? I mean, at this point, you're really jumping into it, but be engaging. Like at that point, they're on your website looking at properties. That is the absolute best time to be able to make a connection with them right then and there. It shows you're being very responsive. You know what's going on, and then you're also reaching out and meeting to their needs. All right, I want to change gears a little bit and talk about online. And is our online presence really important?
Yeah.
Yes. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, we haven't really fine-tuned some of those things. So 90% of our consumers right now are reading online reviews before visiting a business. Is that important to us? Absolutely. 72% say positive reviews make them trust the business more. 88% of consumers trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. And what do we live off of? Referrals and recommendations, right? And 88% of folks say they count it as important as that. So 86% of people, on the other hand, will hesitate to purchase from a consumer who has negative reviews. And about 2/3 of our consumers will only engage with you if you have a positive review and positive comments. This is like the average number of reviews that people read, and you can see that 32% read between 4 and 6 reviews or testimonials. So 18%, 7 to 10, between that 2 to 10 is really kind of the big range where there. But you need to have 4 to 5 reviews, testimonials on your website. You need to have a really good presence on there. Does anybody know why this is so important right now?
A lot of people check reviews before they do this.
Well, they do, but guess what? Guess what's been changing? Guess what's been changing in real estate for us here lately? How far are we moving? Or not we, but how far are our clients moving? Our clients are moving farther than they ever have before.
So they don't know.
The distance that the average distance moved in Georgia prior to the last couple of years was 14 miles. Right now, in Georgia, it's 100 miles. Now, nationwide, it's 90 miles, but you can see that for consumers between mid 50s to mid 60s, they're moving 150 miles. So why would I talk about how far we're moving and our online presence and our reviews? Because that's where they're going. They're not asking for agent referrals quite as much, because they don't expect that an agent knows somebody 100 miles away, 150 miles away. And so what are they doing? They're Googling you. They're looking you up. They're checking out your online presence, that kind of stuff. And so please go out and Google yourself. First name, last name, real estate. See what pops up. You need to make sure that if you're not showing up great on the Georgia MLS website, even though you have a KV Core website, you still need to make sure that Georgia MLS website is heavily trafficked. It gets picked up by Google and that kind of stuff because so many people use it. When all of a sudden they go and they look at your name and all you have is a silhouette of a head and a welcome coming soon, is that somebody that they're going to engage with? Probably not. Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com. We've been seeing Homes.com continue to improve. They've been bought by CoStar and they've been spending a lot of money. Realtor.com, your Facebook business page, Google My Business page. Like a lot of folks have their Google My Business page. That's my recommendation for where you keep your reviews and your testimonials is on your Google My Business page. Wordsworth has been working with a lot of agents and he can help you with that if you need it as well. But a Google My Business page is free leads. You really need to do that. Your Nextdoor account, and then making sure that your KV Core website is also tight and right. Because what you want is that, like we know our clients are moving really far. And when they do that, they start looking for a realtor or a real estate professional in the area where they're going to. So things like Google My Business page, where it's super local, that's going to be that's a very important factor right now. Because agent A referrals are very big right now. It's a very big piece. It can be a very positive way for you to send referrals as well as get referrals. But the other one is make sure that we have our online persona, that how we appear online is right. Because we're seeing a lot more consumers because they're moving so far, they don't know anybody, and so they're checking you out online. And so now's the time to go back and make sure that online you're looking right and tight. Now, at the same time, for our consumers, 1 in 4 think the prices are going to go down. Real estate values are going down 25%. Count to 3, the next person thinks the property values are going down. But that is slightly changing. It's kind of going, it used to be 40%, then 35, then 32, all the way kind of stuff. You can see right now it's sitting exactly at 26% of our consumers think the property values are going down. And do we see property values going down?
Yeah.
No, we don't. Now I understand, this is our appreciation for the last 3 years. in 20 of the largest metros in the United States. And first of all, everybody's in the green, right? Here in Atlanta, you may as well say 50%. We've seen 50% property value appreciation in Atlanta over the last 3 years. And so a lot of times I'll hear agents who come and say, man, where are those $200,000 homes? Where are those $200,000 homes? Well, a $200,000 home at 50% appreciation is a $300,000 home. Right? That's where we're at right now. And so when you're a homeowner, that's a very great place to be. Now, for first-time buyers, it's much more challenging, but for a homeowner, and so like when you say, where's that $200,000 house? There's not very many of them. No, because that $200,000 house now was $150,000 or $140,000 house 3 years ago. So everything's going up, and so we've seen that value appreciation. But that's also one of the biggest factors for why do we own real estate? Because it's the number one source for savings. That's when wealth in the United States is tied up into home ownership. So now this is from Georgia MLS. At the top is Georgia MLS. The bottom is FMLS. And so you can see that property values, this is this year versus last year, just average sales price is up about 3.5%. So we're up 3.5% in Georgia MLS, 2.3% in FMLS. That's on a month-to-month average right there. And so we're continuing to see that. And that's a very solid, safe place for us to be. Because there was a point, year and a half ago when we were seeing 15, 18% property value increases. And so a 3.5% value increase, that's very modest. That's keeping, that's right there with where we need it to be. Because if we kept that double-digit price growth, we would end up with a bubble. So right now we've had higher interest rates, and higher interest rates have been hurting us in a lot of ways. Right?
Right.
But,
Yes.
but however, what happens when interest rates goes up on home values? Well, when you look at it, this is every time that mortgage rates have gone up by more than 1% in the last century, or several centuries actually. And you can see what happened to home prices every time that interest rates went up. They increased on an average 8%. Home values increased by an average of 8% when interest rates are high. So I'm not a big fan of interest rates being high. That's not what I'm trying to say. But as far as like, oh my goodness, the market, like we're going to see property values drop because of interest rates. That's not the case. There's not been a single instance where higher interest rates cause property values to drop. So where is the impact going though? On the volume of sales. The volume of sales that we've seen through there, and really that's where real estate has had its recession already, right? It wasn't a recession in the value, because for our average clients, when they say how's the real estate market doing, they don't care about home sales even slightly. Doesn't matter to them even a little bit. What do they want? What does the average consumer care about? Yeah, is my house worth less today than it was yesterday, or this year versus last year? That kind of stuff. Now, who cares about this number? We do. No, we care about that, right? Because this is the number of sales. And so that's really kind of been where the recession in housing has really come, is just in the overall volume of sales. And so, the rising interest rate, that's hurt our pending sales. That's the one that's where we've really been feeling the pinch. So this is our pending sales this year versus last year. You can see that we've been trending underneath last year all the way through. But you'll notice in the next couple of months, all of a sudden, we're going to start showing up over last year in the next couple of months. I know it sounds like a weird thing to say, but there was one point last year where we were down 37%, then we were down 32%, then 35%, and we've been in the 20s. Then we were in the high teens. We're down, and we're at 12% under last year. In a couple of months, you're going to start seeing positive numbers on sales, pending sales higher this year than last year. It's just a normal trend. It is going to be going around there. And so overall, you can see that our trending sales, that we know that the interest rates have been a big kicker to us on that. But even though I say that, how many houses are bought and sold every day in the United States? A lot. That's not a good number, but yeah. I mean, like every day, how many houses are bought and sold every day? Anybody know? There's 11,500 houses sold every single day, right now, in our current inventory level. So it's not like it's not like the bottom's falling out, not like there's nothing going on. There's 11,500 houses every day. So 11,500 houses sold yesterday, 11,500 sell today, 11,500 going to sell Wednesday. Like there's a lot of inventory still. I mean, there's a lot of real estate activity still going on. Now, and all that is carrying over onto our closed sales. We see that and we know that's coming, but again, we will start trending up on that here really soon. So what's the forecast here for property values for the next year? Now, a lot of the big heads in real estate were saying how we were going to be looking at property declines. If you watch the news over, especially earlier this year, it was property is going to drop, values are going to decline, that values are going to decline. Everybody kept saying that. Well, everyone's revised their forecasts. Now, you guys see any news out there talking about them revising their forecast?
No.
No, they did it on the DL because they were all wrong, right? I get it. I've been wrong about stuff too. But you can see that like Zillow, CoreLogic, Fannie Mae, some of them have really big increases, 6.5%. That's heavy. I really do think we're going to be in that 3 to 5% property value increase year over year. And that's a really safe place to be. Properties for the last 50 years have appreciated 4.4%. So that's a good, safe place for us to be. You can see a lot of these folks were way off. AEI housing centers originally started this year saying we're going to be 15 to 20% down in property values.
Who are they?
Oh, well, Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae,
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley. I can't remember their exact. I don't even remember them right now.
Know
So.
what we're talking about.
Yeah, they're definitely lost. So, but what's been the impact of our rising interest rates as they apply to showing time? Well, last year when rates went up so drastically, so quickly, there was knee shock. I mean, the knee-jerk reaction, right? There was a lot of shock, and you can see that interest rates went up originally. You can see a real big drop in showings. But then after 3 or 4 months, everybody said, this is how it is. And so we've seen where showing values are starting to trend back into the more normal range now. And they're trending right around there. So that didn't keep it going. Folks started to realize that, there's still 11,500 houses that need to be bought and sold every day. And I still want to buy a house. Those kind of things are still very important. So yeah, they did have an impact, especially at the beginning, not as much now. See, a lot of this started off with new listings, right? Or with the listings go. And so, this is in 2022, and this is part of the reason why everyone thought property values are going to go down. You can kind of see the trend line, and everyone thought, man, these listings are going to go through the roof. That was really what we were looking at in 2022. Is that what we had happen? No. Matter of fact, that's what we had happen. And not only did it not go up, it went down. So, the number of new listings we've had have been going down and down and down. And so that's how we ended up with the end of last year. And then for this year, here's where we are now. Inventory level is probably a bigger issue for us right now than interest rates. We don't have enough homes. Our inventory levels are really, really tight. Here in Georgia, we're sitting at 47% of where we were, of inventory level of 47% of where we were in 2019. We have half as many houses as we had in 2019, and we got more people than we had in 2019, more buyers. Remember, we have this millennial generation, the largest generation in the United States, all in first-time home buyer range. So there's a ton of demand still. And with that much demand and not enough supply, what happens to prices? They're going to hold, right? Exactly. And so you can see that, this is Georgia MLS and FMLS. And Georgia MLS, the number of active listings is down 6.9%. We've been down every single month. In FMLS, it's down 15% last month. So, but that is our total listings. At the same time, new listings, we're adding even less inventory in. We're down 17% in Georgia MLS, and we're down 22% on new listings. So we're putting less listings into the market, and we're still selling properties. And so that inventory is, we are still on a decline on inventory. We don't have enough inventory for what we have. Right now, our average days on market at the same time are 43 days. And so is it more than last year? Well, in FMLS, it definitely is, but in Georgia MLS, it kind of fluctuates back and forth, but we're still sitting at 43 days on market, which is like historic lows for us overall. So we still don't have enough inventory. Now, at the same time, this is one of our big negatives here. 70% of our mortgages for our existing property owners are less than 4%. And so that's causing some real issue for some of our sellers. Wouldn't you agree? I get a 3% mortgage. Why would I buy another house at 7? Right? Doesn't make sense. And so you can see that we do have a lot of folks that have those kind of mortgages, and we end up with what's called rate lock, right? And these are the folks, those folks that have the 3% below, they're not selling. So when the 3 to 4 folks, they're probably not selling. And once you get in that 4% range, they got to think real hard. There's got to be a reason for them to sell. So I'm not saying that our rate lock is not an important issue. Matter of fact, I'm saying that when you're talking to sellers, you want to ask what their interest rate is. Yeah. Hey, what's your current? I mean, it's going to be a real big gauge on whether or not this conversation is going to go any farther. Because when they're sitting on a 3% rate, most folks are not selling right there unless they have to. Now, we still have a lot of people that have to and need to, that kind of stuff. So, right now we got 76% of our buyers that need to sell their current home, but they say that they're reluctant due to rates. And so we need some rate relief there to really move that in. But at the same time, Zillow also went through and said, Zillow did this big survey and found that once we get to, for any homeowners who have a rate 5 and above, they are much more likely to sell. And so that's kind of our sweet spot. Anybody over a 5 is a lot more likely, nearly twice as likely to sell as anyone who's under 5. So that's kind of your cutoff point where you want to keep up with that. At the same time, they said 1 out of 4 homeowners would like to sell in the next 3 years. That's a massive amount of our market. There's a ton of demand to sell. It's just the interest rates are really holding them back. So, more so than we've had in a long time, more people are thinking about selling. They're just really being held back right now. And so what are top of our 2 top reasons right now for selling? One is a lot of folks just want to upgrade their house. They've outgrown the house, that kind of stuff. So a desire for an upgraded home, nicer features, new construction, that kind of stuff. And 45% said a growing family. So we making babies out there. And they, that 2-bedroom condo just ain't doing it once you start getting kids. So we still have people that are selling and need to sell and are going to continue to need to sell it. So even though you look at this data, don't think that it's not all doom and gloom. We're still moving a lot of real estate right now. One of the biggest things that we can do, though, is to talk to our homeowners, talk to folks that buy houses. So 64.5% of homeowners who desired to sell their home within the next 6 months happened after a conversation with a realtor. So 2/3 of the listings happened after speaking with a realtor. So what do you think we should probably do more with homeowners? Talk to them. All right, y'all went all the way back to that whole thing I was talking about, like we should be making phone calls in the morning, right? And who should we be talking to? Homeowners. That's our biggest one right there. Because 2/3 of homeowners decide to sell after speaking with us. And so it's important that we are out there and we're talking a very consistent message. But now let's look at what's going on with interest rates. And so for 50 years, the interest rate spread. So what interest rate spread is, 30-year mortgage rates follow the 10-year treasury. And so when the 10-year treasury goes up, 30-year mortgage rates go up. And when the 10-year treasury goes down, mortgage rates go down. And so this has been our average spread of 1.72. So historically, you could say whatever the 10-year treasury was, add 1.72. That's what the current mortgage rates are. Ta-da! Except for not now. Now it's 3%. It's over 3%. Like if this was on like a normal time, even where the 10-year treasury is, we'd be sitting at a 5.84. on interest rates. But we're not. Instead, we're over 3% on that spread. And some folks are like, well, why is that spread there? And as weird as it sounds, it's because the banks are losing money. Inflation has hit the banks really hard. When the Fed raises the rates, that lowers the yields for a lot of the banks. And so as they lose money, guess who they're passing it on to? And so that's one of those things that's really, really impacting us. Now, the good part about that is that will fluctuate, or that will level off. Every one of those circles on there, that's a time when the interest rate was, or when the spread was higher than 3%. There's only been 4 times since we started keeping track. And one was that big 80s debacle that some of us old folks went through and that kind of stuff. But we're right here right now. And so what's gonna fuel that to drop? Inflation. And but that's why the Fed raises the federal funds rate. Because if you look at when the Feds raise the federal funds rate, the lines in blue, well, what happens to inflation afterwards? It goes down. So inflation goes up, they raise the funds rate, inflation goes down. And that's why the Fed keeps raising that. That inflation, that's one of the big factors that's affecting our spread on the 10-year treasury rate. So the good news here, what's happening with inflation? Our core inflation, a whole 9 yards, everything is dropping down. Matter of fact, we're running closer to 3 right now, which is better. Now we're not at the target. The Fed wants us at 2%, and that's where they're really holding us for. But just know that, we see it working already. We see that inflation went up. They raised the federal run rate. Inflation's coming down. The natural course of things is we are going to start seeing that spread to minimize, as well as interest rates come down. So, but at the same time, I had several meetings where I told you all the same thing, right? And so, this is Mark Fleming. He's the chief economist for First American. He said, basically, don't try and predict interest rates. You're always going to be wrong. You're not going to be high. You're not going to be low. You're just going to be wrong, right? And so I'm with it, but I also want you to have some information and data about what, what's really on, what's the history of it and what are we really looking at too. And so these are the mortgage rate predictions. And so we got Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, National Association of Realtors. And if you average all 3, that's the column on the right. And you can see that we're looking at being down into, the low 6s, and then the higher 5s into next year, kind of thing. That's kind of where everyone is feeling like it's looking. But again, please take that with a grain of salt, because I can just share the information I have with you guys. I can't guarantee it. And I thought it was going to be lower than this already. We also had, the U.S. got downgraded on their credit rating. I have no idea no one really knows how that's going to impact interest rates and federal funds rates and all that kind of stuff, because it's never happened before. So we don't know, is that going to make treasuries go up, or is it going to make treasuries go down? We have no idea right now. Because so far the market doesn't seem to care at all. But we'll see where that really ends up working out. So right now, how much months of supply of homes do we have? We're sitting at 2.4 months of total inventory. How many months of inventory do we need to have a balanced market? 6. So we said it's spot on. We need 6 months. And so you can see that we are still sitting at really, really tight inventory. Matter of fact, if you just look at the last 3 months, we're at 2.2 months of inventory. If you look at the last 6 months, we're at 2.3. So you can see the inventory is tightening up even more right now. So 11,500 homes sell every day, right? And there's over 10,000 mortgage applications every day. So when you look at the data, what I don't want you to do is come out of this feeling like, well, it's doom and gloom. Things are terrible. I know interest rates are high. I won't dispute that one bit, but are we still buying and selling a lot of real estate? Matter of fact, we've got more pending transactions in about to close than we've had all summer right now. So we're still doing really, really well. Now, at the same time, we're talking about how much inventory we have, and we know that inventory levels are really, really tight. But the National Association of Home Builders came out and said new home inventory was 31% of total inventory. 1/3 of all homes on the market now are new construction. as well as mortgage applications in new construction are up 26%. So we know that we have really tight inventory levels. What's our one spot where we're seeing inventory where we can go to? New construction. But is that a completely different skill? Maybe not different, but is that a different skill set that we need to be well versed on with our clients? When a third of your inventory is new construction, do you need to be up on which neighborhoods have standing inventory? You know, where are the pre-sales at? What are the price points going on these different neighborhoods, as well as actually knowing how do you work with builders? You know, like are we going to have to use the builder's lender? Yes and no. Like no, you could not use it, but if you do, it's going to hurt your clients. It could put their earnest money at risk. It could, they may not be getting any upgrades, and they may not be getting any closing costs. So in most cases, it makes sense to use their in-house lender. You know, all the bells and whistles, all of our builder contracts, who do they favor? Slightly or just a lot? A lot, right? Yeah, it favors the builder completely. Being able to have these kind of conversations with your clients, being competent at new construction sales, knowing what kind of new construction inventory is out there. That's also another one that's a big deal right now, because Zillow and Redfin just inked a deal where builders can submit their inventory to Zillow and Redfin, and it's not showing up in our MLS. And so we got agents whose clients are calling them saying, hey, I found this property, this new construction. And then we go into the MLS and look like, what property? We can't even find the property online. It's because it's not listed yet. You know, only once it gets into sheetrock does it actually have to end up in our MLS. So these folks are finding all these new construction homes online, and that's, you know, there's definitely a marketing advantage for them on that, because they're trying to bypass buyer's agents if they can. So I know it sounds weird, but do you have to be checking sites like Zillow and Redfin to look for new construction inventory possibly? Yes. As weird as that sounds, like this is the market that we're in right now, because you know they don't have to advertise it until they get to a certain state, but they can go out there and put that into Zillow and Redfin right away. Well, they put it into Zillow, and then Zillow's sharing it with Redfin right now. So being up on new construction is a very smart place for you to be. Okay, because we know that the inventory is tight. Inventory getting tighter. What's the one place where we do have inventory? New construction. Be competent at it. This is a very powerful place for us to be residing right now. All right, I want to change gears a little bit. And you know, there's a lot of talk right now about AI, right? And drones are going to take over the world, and they're going to blow up everything. And you know, Terminator is going to be here next week. Y'all remember back in the day when we got photocopiers? All right, now some of us may have been around back then. We actually had newspapers too, as well. And you know, like it was like the technological revolution is a threat to writers. Copy machines are poison to writers. Copycat threats to U.S. authors. You know, library copy machines encroach on on copyright law. Like, are we not kind of doing that same thing right now about AI? I mean, like seriously, like I don't believe that AI is the end all be all for all things, but I also know that this is right now there's a lot of talk about it, and honestly, there's a lot of positive things that we can utilize AI to help us in our real estate business. And I hope you take some good notes, because I'm going to share with you how to play with ChatGPT in real estate and to use it to grow your business. Y'all with me? All right, let's do this. So when you go in, that's what your ChatGPT looks like. In this right here, you go to chatopenai.com. All you got to do is go into chatopenai.com/off, log in, and click sign up. It ain't that small. You got to squint that hard. All right. I mean, once you do it, like you get logged in, and then start asking questions. You ask weird. I mean, it will absolutely blow your mind. First of all, has anybody done it here that's in the room? No. No. All right. So how quick is it? Woo! Like seconds. like really like crazy, like you hit the button by the time like it's done before you can finish reading the first paragraph. No. So that being said, what can we do with it? Right, because we see it, and even for a lot of agents that have logged into it, they're not utilizing it very well. And so I want to give you some tips and tricks, as well as I want to give you some different things that you can do with it to help you grow your business. So first thing is, can I do property descriptions? Can I do great property descriptions? Yes. So I put in, write a 400-word listing description of the property located at 358 Chandler Ridge, Medina, Georgia. Property is 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 big cottage. Highlight that the property is fully renovated with fresh paint, carpet, new AC units, siding, has a great deck. And I hit enter. And boom, it spits out the entire property. It spits it. Now, on all of these, read them, right? For two reasons, especially on property listing. Does this know not to violate fair housing? No, it doesn't. So you can easily violate fair housing because with fair housing, the big thing is don't talk about property, don't talk about people, talk about property. And sometimes it will do that. So on all these, you're going to have to take it and read, edit it, read it, and revise it. But like this popped up in about 4 seconds. And you know what? I looked at it and I was like, not sure I really like it. Let it regenerate. Boom, just redid the whole thing again for me. Like you can just keep doing it again and again and again. But now, and so like when doing property descriptions, one of the great things is go in there, you can throw in address, you can provide links. There's lots of things where you can do, but then state like what we like to do is like when you have a listing, what are the great features of this house? Like what really stands out about that listing? Just list it in the description and then let the thing go to town for you. So you can also go in and say, go ahead. I went in and said, write 3 real estate property descriptions for a property, same property kind of thing. And then at the end, I said, make this listing description attention grabbing and exciting enough for a potential buyer to want to see more and contact me. Right? You can give it all these prompts and then it split out 3 more listing descriptions for me in no time flat. How long does it take you guys to write a listing description from scratch?
2 days.
Yeah, and 2 days, okay. And then how great does it sound? I'm sorry, I love y'all, but I've read some of y'all's listing descriptions. It's just sad. It's like 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, ranch, nice neighborhood. You should come check it out. And then we also have all of our cliche things, like it's gonna go fast, move now, that kind of stuff. Honey, stop the car, all that kind of stuff that we like to put in listing descriptions. So what about you just took a list, you just picked up a listing and you went and you found that, you know what? They had a listing on this property 2 or 3 years ago. We'll go in and say, look, write me a 300-word listing description for the property located at, and then put in the link. That's a Zillow listing from 3 years ago. And bam. That's crazy. But how easy is that? Right? So a lot of us are spending a lot of time doing a bunch of stuff from scratch. And I'm not saying that it's going to be the greatest end all be all. Read it, revise it, edit it, but it's so quick and easy. We can also go in and we can edit and revise some of our existing listings. So this is one of Letty's listings, and I just put in, write a 400-word attention grabbing description for this property. And then that's the link. And then all I did was pull up, that's actually her KV Core page for her listing. And I shared that with it. And so I'm not saying that her listing description here, stunning 3-sided brick home, boasts a 3-car garage, blah, 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 blah. But I love you, lady. That sounds kind of boring to me. How about this? Elegant oasis retreat, your dream home awaits, nestled with a serene neighborhood, this exquisite property, blah, 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 blah. Right? Does that not sound great?
Yes.
And how quick was that? All I really did was I took Letty's listing and I just shared it, put it in there, and it rewrote the whole thing. So even if you have listings right now that may need a little freshening up, quick and easy way to go do that and really help them pop. How about when showcasing a listing? I can say, act like a realtor, create a social media post that promotes this stunning property. It's the same property, Letty's property in there. My ideal buyer is large families with kids. And then this property has this, include emojis, relevant hashtags, make it engaging, and bam. Bam. Sorry. So there you go. All I do is cut and paste that, and I'm ready to put it out on Facebook or Instagram or different posts like that. How about your about me's? Earlier we talked about making sure that your online profiles are up to date and that they are everywhere. But what do we hate writing?
About me.
My bio, my about me. So go in and write a short but attention grabbing and interesting bio for my realtor business profile. You can even share like if you've already got my Google My Business page, if you've got one of them done, whatever, put that link in there. And then say, this is what I'm known for, this is what I specialize in, bam. Done. Now you've got the bio that you want to share, or the about me and that kind of stuff. And how quick and easy is that? Very, Alan. I know. So, act like a realtor, create a 50-word social media post that promotes this stunning new property. Same one again. Bam. There's a short, so like if I wanted to share that listing out on my data, to my social media, I wanted to share that listing out on Facebook. And so a lot of times we go in and we'll share properties from KV Core onto Facebook. Well, now I've got this, your family's dream home awaits, all that. When you share it, that's your top title right there. You can make it 30 words, 20 words, 50 words, whatever you want, kind of thing. Contact me today to see this home. And then you include the link to that property. How about neighborhoods? Well, especially when folks are moving out from outside of other areas, is neighborhood information something that we see a lot of people searching for right now?
Yes.
Yeah. Act like a realtor, create a social media post highlighting the benefits of living in blank. And it'll spit it out for you. And then you start sharing that on social media when they start, well, now I'm looking for a home in Conyers and whatever kind of thing. These kind of things are going to start showing up. Generate trendy and creative social media content calendar for the next week for my real estate businesses that focus on neighborhoods in the Atlanta area and what kind of buyer is best suited to them. Boom. Spits out, this is what you should send out every day. Like a lot of y'all call me and say, Alan, I don't know what I should post on social media. Well, ask Mr. Wizard. Like this thing keeps up with really current trends. It will work in different formats, that kind of stuff. I'm not saying it's always going to be perfect by any means, but if you need to get the creative juices flowing, it's hard to beat this on that. All this is doing is regurgitating content from other places, but it will do data analysis for you even. So we can have it share out. So like when it comes to social media content, you want, like let's say you're targeting first-time buyers, right? Are you boogieing? But if you're targeting first-time buyers, you go in and put a prompt that says create a social media post for 5 tips for first-time buyers. 10 things that first-time buyers need to know. Write a Facebook, Instagram post about the pros and cons of renting versus buying.
Yeah.
Produce 5 tips to help buyers through the purchase process. 5 common mistakes first-time buyers make. I told you I'll take notes. Y'all just taking pictures. That works. 10 benefits of using a realtor when buying a property or when selling a property, depending on who you're targeting, right? How to craft the best deal when purchasing a property. Top 10 things to look for when touring a property. All these are things that you can instantly have this thing spit out, and it's spitting out content for you. Because the whole idea with, especially when these are my target clients I'm trying to reach. And if I write, if I share information that's relevant to the folks I'm trying to reach, they're going to respond to me more easily. And what an easy way to come up with content that will be targeted towards your target clients.
I think this would be perfect to use with Facebook Business Suite, how it allows you to pre-post.
Yep.
Like you can already have that created and then have a whole week's worth of posts already done.
Very much, yeah. So just for everybody online, the great idea is go ahead and do these ahead on your Facebook business page, because you can schedule your posts ahead and go ahead and knock all those out, and you can just blam, 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 and go ahead and do a week's worth at one time. And now you're not worried about posting again, you just be out selling. Exactly. Now we can, what about actual neighborhoods? Are you guys farm neighborhoods? So using the Brush Arbor neighborhood in McDonough, Georgia, generate 5 social media posts for Facebook designed to engage. And there we go, post 1, post 2, post 3. So now I'm targeting just that one neighborhood. Maybe I'm going to run Facebook ads in that neighborhood or whatever it may be. But it's a very easy way to start building engagement targeted towards a specific group, area, location, whole 9 yards. Give me a creative strategy I can use to reach millennials on social media who are interested in buying a home. So visual storytelling all the way through. It can give you a lot of really great ideas. How about market data? Act like a realtor, conduct extensive home valuation research in McDonough, Georgia to determine accurate property values in the neighborhood. Research, analyze, and provide the latest sales data, sold property data, and sale listing data, as well as monitor marketing trends. Generate a comprehensive and thorough analysis of the real estate market. And it spits out neighborhood, McDonough, Georgia, market overview, property values, sales data, sold data, for sale data. All it's doing is just pulling data from the MLSs, from the National Association of Realtors, any place where it can pull that kind of data up. But like now you want to be the local expert. How easy is this to really showcase that you know your market, you know what's going on? And how long did that take? It's kind of a wordy description in there, I'm sure, but it gives you all of it. It gives you a conclusion on what's kind of going on. So it's I think stuff like that, when it comes to providing content, it really is very good. We put in prompts and it gives us some really great content that we can then utilize to grow our business. Video scripts. We're my video folks. Yeah, like you're doing video, go in and type your script out or give it the prompts that you want. It will give you a script that you can actually put up on the screen as you talk to yourself. And then you can record the video. So because a lot of times it's like, I don't know what to say in the video. Well, right? So create a script for a 30 to 60 second video tour of your listings. Post it here, introduce the property, mention the features, all that kind of stuff. It'll go through and give you all that kind of thing that you need. How about your email scripts? You want to send some emails out to some of your clients? What a great way to produce that content. Then to go in, you can do email scripts, you can, potential buyers, potential sellers, whole 9 yards. Go in there and pull up some really cool content, not just the same canned email that goes out through the system all the time. How about 20? So this says write 20 blog or vlog topic ideas I can write as a realtor. So I can top home renovations for increasing property value, navigating the home buying process, first time buyer. Now, when it comes to actually writing that article, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to go in, I'm going to say, write me a 200 word article about top home renovations for increasing property value. So it's giving your ideas, and then you can go and have it actually type the idea, write it out for you. Edit it yourself, change it, update the prompts, that kind of stuff. It's still really, really powerful way. Because I want you to be able to save time, and what I don't want you to do is be afraid of this technology. Like, it's free and it works crazy fast, and it can save you from having to sit there and scratch your head. I used to spend hours and hours doing property descriptions, things like that, writing posts, doing things on social media. How about your email signatures? Generate 3 creative email signature options for my real estate business. They should include my name, my company, my title, my contact information. They should be attention grabbing and unique, but still remain professional. Blah, blah, blah. Now I got my email signatures done. Go put them on KV Core, put them on your Google, whatever kind of thing. How cool is that? How about develop 10 taglines for my real estate business that inspire others to be a part of it? I want the taglines short and snappy. So there's my taglines I can choose through if I wanted to add those into my business. Write a marketing campaign for new real estate buyer lead that inquired on my agent website. I want the plan for 5 days in length, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. And then boom, here's your day 1 script for making a phone call. Then here's day 2, email. Day 3, the text message you're going to send out. Day 4, another quick email. Day 5, another phone call. There's your scripts already for a new buyer campaign. Was that really difficult to do? Nope. Actually, pretty fast and easy. Now, we have these same campaigns where? In KV Core. But guess what? You have the same campaign, and you have the same campaign, and you have this, like y'all follow me, right? It's everybody. So Can we not go in here and edit our own and make our own with whatever matches up with our heart and how we want it to sound? And now do you have to write it from scratch? No. Utilize the tools that are there for you. So to wrap up here, first step is, here's my 4 basic tips for you, okay? So tell AI to impersonate some sort of specialty, who you are. So act like a realtor, act like a real estate agent, speak as a realtor with 20 years of experience, those kind of things. And you want to give it some sort of a prompt, because this one is really good. Impersonate a home valuation expert, whatever you want, but give it a prompt and what tone you want that to have. And then include your tone. I'm sorry, the next one. Do you want it to be persuasive, friendly, outgoing, educational, serious, bold, any voice that you want it to have? Like, so it will read into those tones. And what's creepy is it really works. Like you do it, like you said, I want to sit in a bold way, and you're like, woo, right? Go in and just provide clear instructions and guidelines. Because guess what? If you go in and it's not right, just hit regenerate. There's no big deal to it. So give it its voice, give it its personality, give it the guidelines for what you want it to do, and then just be specific in what you want it and how you want it to do. Those 4 things will keep you doing really good, whether it's property descriptions or social media campaigns or doing all that kind of stuff. Because I really want you to be able to utilize this technology and not be afraid of it. Right now, there's so much talk about drones and all the blah, 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 right? But for real estate, this is not going to replace us. I'm not worried about this replacing us. What I am worried about is us not taking advantage of being able to utilize this technology to make our lives better and to grow our businesses. So it makes sense? Very good, very good. All right, well, I am right at an hour, and I've tried real hard to be better today. So this is congratulations to our top producers, the whole company here. So we got I've got it up here. And so at this point, we are going to go to our local sales meetings now. Everybody in the office is going to kind of do their own thing. And so I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. And if I can be of any kind of service, please call, text, smoke signals, be answered. Thank y'all.
Thank you.